Hello and welcome to this presentation by Modern Lawyer Media Group. My name is Alexander Benikoff and I wanted to make a short video talking about different office choices for new lawyers or lawyers going out on their own, starting their own practices, solo law firms. This video is also good for law students that are thinking about down the road starting their own practice and trying to decide what kind of options you have out there. So the first option is the simplest, it's the most basic, it's also the most common. It's what most law students and new lawyers think of when they think of an office, and that's the traditional office. It's pretty simple. You rent a space or a house or anything else you can think of, and you pay a monthly rate. The big downside with this is pretty obvious, and that's cost. When you're starting your own practice, you're not going to have a lot of money for an office. Anything that you spend is going to affect your bottom line. And when I started my own practice about 9 years ago, if I would have gone out and got a fancy office, I probably wouldn't have made it to year 2 and 3 because I wouldn't have had any money left over. That's something that you have to constantly be thinking about. Pretty much any kind of traditional law office will cost you at least $500–700 a month, possibly more. You can probably hear my puppy in the background going crazy about some dog walking by. Sorry about that. I'm in my home office right now. So any office is going to be at least $500 a month, depending on the city you are, maybe a lot more. If you're in a big market, you may be looking at thousands a month for something pretty simple. If you do decide to get a traditional office, keep a few things in mind. Things is obviously if the office is a view, you're going to be paying a lot more. Sometimes you can get an office in a fancy office building that doesn't have any windows. It's an interior office for considerably cheaper. So if you're looking at places, always ask and see what's available. The big benefit of having a traditional office is that you look like you have a real law practice. You can decorate it, you can make it look nice, you can put up all your awards once you get them, and clients can come in and see that. Something else to think about with the traditional office is you may have a type of practice where you don't want a type of clients coming and seeing you. For example, if you're a defense lawyer and most of your clients are court appointed, you may not want them coming to see you, late at night or weekends or whatever. So, security may be an issue, something else to think about. Again, depending on the type of practice that you have, that may or may not be an issue. The second type of office setup to consider is office sharing. Office sharing can be great for a couple reasons. First of all, it's going to reduce your cost. So instead of 1 or 2 people paying for an entire office, you may be paying half or a third or a fourth for an office or a house or a small building or whatever your arrangement is. The other big benefit is that being a solo lawyer can be lonely. You can feel isolated, so having other lawyers around can be nice. Another advantage is that you can learn from other lawyers and ask questions and bounce ideas off of them. I shared an office with 2 lawyers for about 3 or 4 years after I'd been practicing for a couple of years, and it worked out well for me because they had a lot more experience than me. I could go to them, I could ask them questions, and they were great. One specific example I remember, I had a client come in. It was a type of felony case I hadn't handled, and I asked one of the attorneys, how much should I charge? She told me. I felt a lot better, and I was able to give the person a reasonable price. One downside of office sharing is be very clear about 2 things. First, who pays for what? So if 2 of the other attorneys decide to buy a $6,000 printer and they want you to contribute $2,000, and you may not want to do that because, you may think your office printer is fine. You need to talk about these things ahead of time. Also, the second thing, be very clear with your clients that you're not a law firm, that you're sharing an office. You don't want your clients and potential clients thinking that you're a law firm and they're hiring, 4 or 5 lawyers in the whole firm, but they're only hiring you. So, it may be a good idea to have something on your letterhead or something in your fee agreements, saying that you're a solo lawyer, that there's other people in your office, but that you're not working with them, that you're just sharing a space. Something else to consider is how phone calls are received. So for example, this is something that happened to a lawyer friend of mine. So he was sharing an office with an attorney and he was getting phone calls for him potential clients calling, but the receptionist was transferring the phone calls to the other attorney, so he was losing business. So again, something to think about. The third type of office is one of my favorites, and it's a virtual office. Nowadays, for most new lawyers, all you really need to start a law practice is a cell phone and a laptop and a car, and I honestly believe that that's basically what I started with about 9 years ago, and I was able to build off that. Virtual offices are great. The obvious benefit is cost. You can run a virtual office for a couple $100s a month total. Again, all you need is a laptop and a cell phone. Technology's helped a lot as far as, you can scan stuff, you can email stuff, you can use your phone to fax documents if you need to fax something. So it's a lot easier than it used to be. You don't need thousands of dollars worth of equipment, fancy copy machines, big bulky scanners, big fancy bulky printers, pretty much everything you can do with your phone now and a laptop. With virtual offices, a couple of questions that often come up. The first is, well, how do I get mail? What a lot of lawyers do that works well is just get a P.O. box. One tip that I like is that if you get one at a UPS store, it can say suite instead of P.O. box. So on your address, it says office of, Nancy Smith, suite number 212. It's really a box office 212, but, it looks more professional to other attorneys, to clients, because it looks like you're in a physical office. So that's a good tip. A P.O. box is going to cost you anywhere from 10, 20, 30 bucks a month, depending on the size and location. And again, an easy way to receive mail. Like, they can also sign for packages for you. They can send stuff for you. They can usually notarize stuff for you if you need that for any kind of legal documents. The other question that I get a lot is, where do you meet clients if you don't have a traditional office? What I normally do, or when I had a virtual office, what I would do, sorry, puppy's going crazy again, is you can meet clients in different places, such as the courthouse, restaurants, coffee shops. What you can do is turn a negative into a positive. If you don't have an office, you can tell potential clients, look, I can come to your house, or I can come to a coffee shop by your house that can save you time. Again, the type of practice you're doing, you may not want to be going to your clients' houses. Some lawyers do, some don't. But again, a lot of that will depend on the type of practice that you're in. So I like virtual offices. I think it's one of the best ways for new lawyers to save money. Speaking of saving money, the next option is a home office. I currently have a home office also now. I like it. When I had a traditional office, I would feel that I went there and just kind of spent time because it seemed like what I needed to do. Now, if I need to get something done, I go upstairs and I get it done. I don't have to drive somewhere. It saves time. Home offices also, as far as having clients come to your house, for some types of practice, this may be okay. For other types of practice, it won't. My practice is all criminal defense, so I don't want clients coming to my house. So again, I meet clients in other places when I have a home office. If I have a traditional office, obviously I'll meet clients there, and that's what most defense lawyers do. Again, for obvious reasons, you don't want criminal defense clients coming to your house generally. So the last type of office that I like that's worth considering is what I call a part-time office. There's more and more services when you can rent an hourly office or an office by the day, and then you go there when you need it. So if you have clients that you're meeting, you can do that. A lot of these offices will have conference rooms that you can use by the hour or day or half day. There's a bunch of large national companies. Regis is one of the largest. They have offices in most cities and a lot of different locations. When I first started, I used a similar service as that in Phoenix. They answered my phone calls. They had a day office that I could use if I needed to meet clients. They had offices, conference rooms. They had a professional looking receptionist and receptionist area, so if somebody came in, the person could talk to them. The other benefit that they had that many of these services have is they had call answering. So when a call would come in, they would say, law office of so-and-so, and then they could transfer that phone call to my cell phone or email me. So that way a client, would think that I was in my office and not just getting patched through. So just a couple thoughts on office choices. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please subscribe to our channel, and I appreciate all the feedback. Thank you.